It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios. And I'm 11, Dr. Morton Loop in Adabaka, Accra. It's also live on all our partner stations across the country and around the globe on citinewsroom.com. I am Wilma Obuobi-Sakoman, and this afternoon I'm here with
Charles Osukumi.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, first Deputy Speaker of Parliament Joseph Osei-Wusu slams Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, describing them as over-exploiting Ghanaian consumers.
Tax. They are over-exploiting, and I'm saying it without fear.
GUTA for over-exploiting.
Yes, Kyle's way. You got to turn on China. I personally went. I knew how much I sport this one. Some of the highest grades you can get in here. But bought it for less than a fraction of the Omoton, the weakest link the Omoton will have.
Meanwhile, GUTA is demanding a retraction and an apology from the Bekwai MP.
We condemn in no uncertain terms the statements and sheer arrogance and complete ignorance exhibited on the genuine inputs GUTA made on those 3 taxes he mentioned. His assertion that traders are the cause of high prices of goods in the market is not only infantile, but also diabolical.
Still ahead, the Public Utility Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress kicks against the appointment of Collins Nyama as Deputy Managing Director for the Finance and Administration at the Ghana Water Company Limited.
The information we have gathered indicates that Mr. Collins Nyama is not a chartered accountant and does not qualify to be appointed as Deputy Managing Director Finance and Administration for the Ghana Water Company Limited.
And later, court gives Minority Leader Keselatu Forsing 1 week to file his witness statement in ongoing financial loss to the state case over the purchase of some ambulances. Stay tuned as we bring you details of all that and more on the Citi Prime News, which is live on all our affiliate stations across the country. In the Western region, Upper West, we are on Tumpani Radio 88.5 in Nadoli. In the Upper East region, we are on Rekas 92.1 FM in Bongonamu. Still in the Upper West region, we are on Jirapa 96.1 FM. And in the Northern region, we are on North Star Radio 92.1 in Tamale. In the Northeast region, we are on Nobia FM 98.1 in Nalerigu. In the Western region, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrad is where you're listening to us. And in the Ashanti region, we're on Focus 94.3 FM on the KNUST campus and Orange 107.9 FM all in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Sela Radio 97.1 FM in Dabala and Holy FM 98.5 in Aflao. And in the Savannah region, you're listening to us on Kasha 99.5 FM in Damongo.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for your time this afternoon. We'll settle for the details of our stories now. Now, the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament and MP for Bekwai, Joseph Osei-Wusu, has slammed the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, and says the group is over-exploiting Ghanaian consumers. GUTA has been displeased with the government for failing to acknowledge their petition that urged President Akufo-Addo not to assent to the 3 new taxes. Speaking to Kumasi-based Oyerpa FM's Parker Wilson, Osei-Wusu condemned what he described as the dishonest business ethic of Ghanaian businessmen and women because they evade taxes, inflate prices, but complain when taxes are raised.
So, let's be fair to this country. Tax. They are over-exploiting, and I'm saying it without fear.
GUTA for over-exploiting.
Yes, Kyle's way. You got to turn on China. I personally went. I knew how much I sport this one. Some of the highest grades you can get in here.
Yeah.
But I bought it for less than a fraction of the Omoton, the weakest link the Omoton will have.
But the import duty, Speaker, you've not factored that
into it. Now, the Medibay to duty. It's your duty. In the ban, it's your duty. Right? The point is that dishonesty now make come. We go to the conditions. And I can't say, lawyer, said the Italian opportunity, the 10 bar training. Every one of them will tell you honestly.
I see.
And I good for Sabi. Cratch for Cacrano to become brofono. It can no credit power munim that they are under declaring, they are under prices, no. They're inflating the charges and they are making huge profit on any product. We kind of crunch taxes. Then say a new mom the benina, it treat the appropriate taxes. It should reflect in how much revenue we generate.
Yeah.
First Deputy Speaker of Parliament and MP for Bekwai Joe Say Wusu. Meanwhile, Guta has responded to the MP, describing his posture as arrogant. Here are excerpts of the statement signed by its Secretary General, Alpha Shaban.
We condemn in no uncertain terms the statements and sheer arrogance and complete ignorance exhibited on the genuine inputs Guta made on those 3 taxes he mentioned. Guta wants the First Deputy Speaker to know and understand the following: that Guta is a union of patriotic and honest members of the Ghanaian business community, that members of Guta are equal stakeholders in the scheme of affairs of the nation and have been collaborating with governments to fashion out policies for the country for the benefit of all Ghanaians, that Guta collaborates with Ghana Revenue Authority and leads joint task education campaign that enhances revenue mobilization, that most members of the trading community are more intelligent, educated, knowledgeable, and resourceful than him, but for the privilege he has, he should have known better and be mindful of his utterances and speak with decorum in order not to subject himself to public ridicule and insults. The majority of Ghanaian traders honor their tax obligations. That his assertion that traders are the cause of high prices of goods in the market is not only infantile, but also diabolical. Guta therefore challenges the First Deputy Speaker to produce the list of all taxes imposed by the government at the port and beyond, including all fees and charges, as well as charges for utilities, electricity and water, fuel taxes as well, for all Ghanaians to know who is exploiting the consumer. That it is true there has been several allegations of under-invoicing and over-invoicing at the port, and likewise there has been series of bribery allegations against Parliament, in some of which he, the First Deputy Speaker, is even at the center of the alleged scandals. Can one therefore be right to call Parliament as a corrupt institution?
You had excerpts of a statement from Guta, read by Citi News' Caleb Kuda. In a related development, the General Secretary of the Ghana Federation of Labour, Abraham Kumson, argues that the decision of the First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joe Wise, to buy goods sold in Ghana from China is an indictment on the government.
So if you know that the conditions here are not helping sales of product at a control price, and you go to China and bring products that we have substitute here in this country, then what are you doing? If people here are overpricing or they are evading taxes, there are so many ways as government in power. You can deal with this kind of overpricing, but you leave Ghana, go to China, and go and buy something there. You see, the industries, because they will not be able to sell. Now that some MPs can go to China and go and buy things cheaper there. That's why it tells us that our products here cannot be sold. Unfortunately, if even these taxes are being applied well, we have a problem. Because this is a finance minister who in Parliament, his own MPs, MPs, about 90 of them, said, no, the man is not competent. He's not able to manage the economy well. We don't want him. President, sack him. So what has changed? Has he now gone to Harvard to do post-PhD within this short period to master the art of managing an economy? It's very sad. And this man is the person that he's bringing taxes upon taxes, and you know the man is not competent. And all that he's doing is to undermine the economy, undermine businesses. And the MPs are there. They are part of this problem that we are facing. Everybody is saying president. President, what is it? Baby? Yes, he has the constitutional mandate to do, but he's one person. That's why we have the Council of State members to also advise both Parliament and then the President himself. But they're also not doing it. Because of Article 71, they are there benefiting.
Abraham Kumson is the General Secretary of the Ghana Federation of Labour.
Abraham Kumsin again has attributed the disregard for organized labor's petition against the newly passed taxes to the collapse of the once vibrant industrial sector. The Ghana Union of Traders Association expressed its disappointment at President Akufo-Addo for failing to even acknowledge its petition against assenting to the proposed bills and described the situation as disrespectful and an imposition. Speaking on the dwindling influence of organized labor, Abraham Kumsin pointed to the collapse of major industries in Ghana and highlighted its effect on the strength of labor unions.
You know that we now lack the capacity to fight them, and it's because the industry that used to be very vibrant is no longer strong as it used to be, and the workforce about I would say about 80 something plus of them have lost their jobs, and so the few remaining, yes, we can talk. But when it comes to those days that we were in the union, 81, I mean, that is the time that GAIP was working. That is GAIP, that is top, was in full operation. VACO, very sensitive areas like, I can't count them. When we come together, when we meet, government Shiva, even in the military, during the military regime, talk. Now GAIP, now talk. When we hoist the red flag, to be and others will run and come to us and come and plead. But you see, what is done now? Look at its condition. Workers are not finished yet. Unfortunately, some of us we are old, but we try to build the youth. If they are ready and prepared to offer themselves, we will help them.
Abraham Kumsin is the General Secretary of the Ghana Federation of Labour.
The Public Utility Workers Union of the Trade Union Congress, TUC, is opposing the appointment of Collins Nyama as the Deputy Managing Director for Finance and Administration at the Ghana Water Company Limited. The union says Collins Nyama, who served as Director of Finance and Administration at the NPP headquarters, was not a qualified chartered accountant and thus was ineligible for the position. Mr. Nyama was nominated by President Akufo-Addo to serve as the Deputy Managing Director of the company, but a petition from the Workers' Union to the Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources is alleging that Collins Nyama is not fit for the job. Here are excerpts of the petition read by Citi News' Sami Wiafe.
The position of Deputy Managing Director, Finance and Administration requires a person who, among other qualifications and experience, should be a certified chartered accountant belonging to a recognized and accredited institution of chartered accountants. The information we have gathered indicates that Mr. Collins Nyama is not a chartered accountant and does not qualify to be appointed as Deputy Managing Director, Finance and Administration for the Ghana Water Company Limited. In addition, within the Ghana Water Company Limited, even the position of Chief Manager for Finance demands that the person selected must be a chartered accountant belonging to a recognized professional body of chartered accountants. It will therefore be senseless for Ghana Water Company Limited to be given a non-chartered accountant to superintend the work of subordinates who are qualified chartered accountants. This will create avoidable tension and chaos within the company. Furthermore, the board and management had intimated that the company is going through difficult financial situation. This is evidenced by the recent salary increment of 15% given to staff that has created a lot of tension and anxiety within the company. In the light of the aforegoing, we are submitting this petition to you and requesting that you use your good office to ensure that the nomination of Mr. Collins Nyama as Deputy Managing Director, Finance and Administration is withdrawn, and further action should not be taken to result in the appointment of an unqualified person to this very important and critical position within the Ghana Water Company Limited.
You had excerpts of a petition from the Public Utility Workers Union of the Trade Union Congress and read by Citi News' Sami Wiafe.
Let's now head to the court. The High Court in Accra has directed the minority leader, Keiso Atuforsen, to file his witness statements by May 4 this year in the ongoing financial loss to the state case involving the purchase of some ambulances. This follows an application by Keiso Atuforsen for leave to file 9 witness statements as part of his defense. The minority leader, together with the other accused persons, were expected to have filed their witness statements earlier to allow for case management conference ahead of the opening of their defenses. But lawyers of Atuforsen in court on Tuesday indicated that their client was unable to have conferences with some of the witnesses who were outside the country. The 2 other accused persons, Seth Animana, a former chief director of the Ministry of Health, and Richard Jakpa, a businessman, have also revealed that they will present 6 and 5 witnesses respectively as part of their defenses. The court also granted a disclosure application by Atuforsen for warrant of payment, which he claims details the person who authorized the payment. The court directed the state to make the disclosures by Friday, April 21 this year. The case has been adjourned to May 9, 2023 for case management conference. The judge has, however, served notice that the matter will be completed by August 31 this year to enable her focus on her role as a court of appeal judge.
Now, away from that, security analyst Dr. Ishmael Norman says the IGP's meeting with political parties is a good initiative, but fears the police may be overstepping their bounds by truncating freedom of speech. His comments are a reaction to the police administration's meeting with the leadership of the NDC and the MPP over some recent happenings in the political space. The police administration met the parties on Monday following the alleged use of incendiary language. After the meeting, the police service announced the formation of an election security secretariat to work with the various political parties in their respective internal elections. Dr. Ishmael Norman has been speaking to Citi News.
IGP has overstepped its mandate. In a democracy, the people have the right of freedom of speech. That right is so extensive, so expansive. No police commissioner should try to truncate the people's right. If, for example, a pastor makes a prediction about somebody and the person feels aggrieved, the courthouse is there. It's not the role of the IGP to invite the pastor to say, you cannot predict. He doesn't have the power to do that. And in this country, any powerful person or anybody presumed to be powerful can actually come out with an edict and we just surrender to the person. He doesn't have the right to do that. So the political parties campaign, they have the right to say the things they want to say to energize the base. And the IGP doesn't have the right to interfere.
Even if what they are saying is insightful and may lead to chaos.
It hasn't incited anybody. Who did it incite? We have to define the limits and the expanse of causing fear and panic. Political speech, political campaign is not one of those.
You heard security analyst Dr. Ishmael Norman.
Now, the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament has bemoaned the lack of commitment on the part of the Sehui Akontombra district to complete 2 projects in the area. The 2020 Auditor General's report on the utilization of the District Assembly's Common Fund revealed that a CHIPS compound worth over 180,000 Ghana cedis had been abandoned for the last 48 months, with the teachers' quarters also abandoned for 50 months despite the use of 288,000 Ghana cedis of the Common Fund project. For the project, appearing before the committee, the acting coordinating director of the Sehui Akontombra District Assembly, Richard Dela Daka, says contractors of the project have abandoned the site due to the lack of funds. Here are excerpts of proceedings of the committee at Sunyani in the Bono region.
What was the state at the time that you audited and whether there has been improvement as they claim? Because I want to be sure there has actually been improvement between the time of auditing and now, which they can't confirm. They can't tell me anything.
Honorable Chair, the status has been the same.
So it means you have done nothing. And if you have not awarded new projects since this audit, and you have received common fund for 2021, 2022, and nothing has changed, then where is the money going to? I will defer this to Chairman. But I'm not satisfied with they have not awarded projects since this audit, and yet they haven't done anything.
I think that question you asked, it's not well answered. if you have not awarded contracts since these findings were made, your common fund should be able to complete the project. Then he said there were other commitments. Which other commitment? Common fund is for development projects. And if these are the projects which were outstanding, if there were other projects which were outstanding, the auditor would have noted them here. So that answer is not satisfactory. But let me find out, do we have the contractors on site as we speak?
Honorable Chair, no, please.
Where are they? They left site.
Honorable Chair, yes, please.
Well, are you owing them?
Yes, Honorable.
So now, when are you going to pay the contractors to come back and complete the project?
Chair, we budgeted for them in our 2023 budget. So we are.
But you received your allocation, common fund. Haven't you received any money this year? You received something recently?
Yes, please, Honorable.
Have you paid them something?
We've made commitment to pay them this.
Have you paid them?
No, please, not yet.
When are you going to pay them? Are you paying them from the recent?
Honorable, honestly, it's not possible to pay them from this. The current release that we have.
The projects are not your priority. That's all. This project, they are not your priority. Cheap compound, they are all cheap compound. No, cheap compound and teachers' quarters. Yes, they are not your priority.
Honorable, it is, please.
No, that's what I can see. They are not your priority. Let's move on.
Those were excerpts of proceedings of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament at Sunyani in the Bono region.
Now, members of the Equatorial Line Wood Sellers Association have reiterated their resolve to resist plans by the Asokore Mampong Municipal Assembly to ask them to readjust the operations to allow for the redevelopment of the area, while some of their members have had their areas of operation barricaded and they have been asked to move to other parts within the enclave. The affected persons say there is no clarity from authorities. According to them, the entire area looks already occupied and the authorities have not done any clear demarcations where they are supposed to move. Speaking to Citi News, the vice chairman of the Equatorial Line Wood Sellers Association, Peter Owusu-Mensah, stressed that relocating them to a temporary place was the best solution for now.
They haven't tell us where they are taking us to. So they said you are supposed to just move back. Yes. They want to shift us. But we are fully occupied here. There is no space. So that will be impossible for us to leave. So if they like, and if the assembly like, and the contractor want us to do his work, then they have to relocate us to a suitable place so that we can do our work peacefully.
But what's your main concern if you are being asked to move back a bit?
There is no space, and we are many here. That's our main concern. To move back, there is no space. Those the place they have fenced. Those people, what are they going to do? That place, what are they going to do? There's no place for them to go. So it's like evicting them without giving them a place. So I'll appeal to Kumasi Mayor.
This one has to do with the Asokore Mampong Municipal Assembly.
I'll appeal to the MC and his members. They must have some sympathy on us. We have been here for a long time, doing our work peacefully. So if they want to move us from here, or they want to do their development here, they must find a place for us. That's our main concern. If they can't find a place for us, then we are not moving here to anywhere.
That's the vice chairman of the Equatorial Line Wood Sellers Association, Peter Owusu-Mensah. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra. Still ahead, VRA and NECO have disconnected the Bolgatanga Technical University from the national grid following their inability to settle their arrears. We'll bring you details of that shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant. And she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, has disconnected the Bolgatanga Technical University from the national grid following their inability to settle their debt. The university owes over 1 million cedis but paid only 50,000 cedis this morning. However, NEDCO says the amount paid by the university was inadequate and went on to disconnect the university. Here is NEDCO's Upper East Billing and Revenue Officer, Engineer Williams Asari.
Okay, so we engaged the school authorities, the registrar and his team. The pro-vice chancellor was there. As at February, their indebtedness is 1,083,215 Ghana cedis. It appeared that as at this morning, they are going to pay 50,000 out of the 1,083,000, which is woefully inadequate. So they are left with 1,033,000, and we engage them so that they can make some substantial payment. Unfortunately, they are unable to meet us, so we have no other choice than to disconnect power supply to the university.
Engineer Williams Asare is the Upper East Billing and Revenue Officer for NEDCO. In a related development, the Upper East Regional Area Manager of NEDCO, Engineer Eugene Adu, says the revenue mobilization and disconnection exercise is to ensure the full recovery of customer debts owed the company.
In the Upper East area, which covers Upper East region and Northeast region, it's about 125 million as of January. So this exercise is intended to recoup as much as possible. Any customer who owes us is a target. So we expect all customers to rush to settle their indebtedness. Our aim is not to disconnect any customer. Our aim is to collect our money. So anyone who doesn't pay whatever is indebted to us will be disconnected as the law dictates.
Your outfit.
Government agencies in Upper East here is about, they owe us about 55 million. And it's all part of the money we are going for. They are all part of the targets for this program.
Engineer Eugene Ado is the Upper East Regional Area Manager of NEDCO. Now, the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, has embarked on a revenue mobilization exercise on Tuesday morning in its operational areas. The exercise is to recover all debts owed by the customers. At the first leg of the exercise, took officials to the Bolgatanga College of Education. The institution failed to pay at least 70% of their over 4.1 million cedis debt. The management of the institution told the officials from NEDCO, led by its managing director Osmani Ayuba, that the areas were due to government's directive to all colleges to cease billing students with electricity, and that the government was going to bear the cost. However, the power distribution company said that explanation could not hold as other colleges were paying their bills. NEDCO further insisted that the college should pay at least 70% of their debt and went ahead to disconnect power supply to the institution. We'll go over the phone lines and speak to our Northern Regional correspondent, Dinah Ingwan, to tell us more. Good afternoon, Dinah. Now, we know that the NEDCO has disconnected some colleges of education. Please tell us about it.
Yes, so NEDCO began its exercise today to recover all its debts
some of it there. And today, the first place we visited is the Baga Baga Training College. So at that place, the institution pleaded to NEDCO to give them a 24-hour ultimatum so they could communicate with their superiors to see if they could pay the 70% that NEDCO is demanding. But NEDCO insisted it was going to go ahead to disconnect, which it did. And we are currently at the Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium. The facility owes an amount of 466,000 to this. And management of NEDCO says that they should pay at least 70%. So today they are embarking on this activity and asking those institutions to pay at least 70% of the debt before they restore power to them. So from here, we'll be moving to that's the Samali Technical University that owes an amount of 3.34 million. The UDS, 4.8 million. Ghana Water Company, 62 million. And Fire Service, they also owe an amount of 88,000 to this. So that is it for now. We are still at the Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium, where officials of NEDCO are heading towards the transmitters to disconnect electricity to this facility.
Now, what have been some of the response from these principals? What are the reasons for which they have delayed payments?
So we visited only the Baga Baga Training College, and they explained that for some years, like they said, somewhere 2014, they were asked to stop billing students, with electricity bill, and that government asked that it was going to take charge of that. And that resulted into the arrears. But after some time, somewhere in November, according to the acting principal, they have started paying its current debt. So the accumulation of the electricity bill is not deliberate. And they were pleading to NEDCO to give them like a payment plan so they could pay. But NEDCO insisted, no, it cannot do that because they are also running a business. And if they should continue to supply them with power, it's going to affect their activities.
Well, Dana, hold on briefly. We have the voice of the acting principal of the Baga Baga College of Education, Yakubu Jacob Hussein. Let's listen to what he's been saying.
Somewhere last month, because it's not up to 2 months, 2 or 3 people from VRA came here, and they actually told us about our indebtedness. We actually also explained to them why that money accumulated to that much. In that, somewhere, I think 2018 or thereabout, government says no institution should pay utility bills or charge students to pay utility bills. And government will take it upon itself to pay those things. I'm sure that is why that money has been accumulated. So when they came, we already even started a plan of payment where we said that current bills will be paid and little of the outstanding will be added to the current bills. And that is what we've been doing.
That was the acting principal of the Baga Baga College of Education, Yakubu Jacob Fuseni. Let's now hear from the managing director of NEDCO, Osmani Aludiba Ayuba.
Our mission is very simple. You will recall that in the past few days we've issued notices to the effect that NEDCO is embarking on the mass revenue mobilization. We are owed to the tune of over 1.2 billion Ghana cedis, but we also have a duty to also pay our creditors for the power that we buy and supply to you. We owe VRA in excess of 1.4 billion. We owe GRICO, who transmits the power, in excess of 480 million. And we also owe suppliers of meters, transformers, cables, conductors, and what have you. And so our business is being threatened by inadequate funds to run the operations. And as consumers, you are looking for more reliable quality power supply, and we can only do this if we have enough money to offset our obligations to these creditors that I've talked about. You as an institution also owes us an amount of little over 4.1 million Ghana cedis. You can imagine if we continue to supply you this power and we are not getting the revenue that's come. We get to a point where we'll be unable to supply you the power. So we have decided to embark on this mass revenue mobilization to visit customers like yourself who owe us, to employ upon you to make good your indebtedness to us so that we can continue to provide the service that you also require.
That was the managing director of NEDCO, Osmani Aludiba Ayuba. We'll go back to the phone lines. Dinah Ingwan is still on the lines. Now, Dinah, do we know how long NEDCO intends to embark on this revenue mobilization exercise?
So they said it will run from today to May 18th. That's for 1 month.
How much are they hoping to rake in?
With that, we do not know, but they say at least half of what is owed them.
Thank you very much for that update. That was our Northern Regional Correspondent, Dinah Ingwan, who is with the Northern Electricity Distribution Company. Their revenue mobilization task force that have this morning gone around disconnecting some College of Education over some debt owed them.
Now, from one power distribution company to another, the Electricity Company of Ghana, they have disconnected the University of Mines and Technology and Johnson and Coal Mining Company in Takwa from the national grid for failing to pay arrears of 2.4 million Ghana cedis. Speaking during the disconnection exercise, the Western Regional Public Relations Officer for the ECG, Benjamin Kwaku, said the disconnections formed part of the nationwide revenue mobilization exercise.
Before 20th March, we made it known to everybody, the general public, that this is the exercise we are embarking. And that's notwithstanding, our customers, the agreement we have with them, after using the power, you have to pay on monthly basis. So if you have decided not to pay for so long a time, some 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, then I don't think we have to come to you to plead for you to make payments. It is notice enough for you when we bring our bill to you that you owe us, and it is your duty to make payments. So if you have not made payments, that is not fulfilling part of your schedule with us. I don't think we have the luxury of time to go or make more announcements to that effect.
Benjamin Kwaku is the Western Regional Public Relations Officer for the Electricity Company of Ghana.
Now, the Ghana Water Company Limited says persons whose water supply have been disconnected risk being prosecuted in the next 14 days if they fail to pay their bills. According to the Ghana Water Company Limited, this forms part of efforts by the company to retrieve funds to help for their operations. Earlier this month, the company directed all its heads to participate in a revenue mobilization drive to retrieve monies owed it. The head of corporate communications at GWCL, Stanley Marty, tells Citi News the company will use all available legal means to get defaulting customers to meet their financial obligations to the company.
Process is still ongoing. We have our directors all at the district level and then supporting the districts to enable us collect money, and that's due to Ghana Water Company Limited. So everything is ongoing and it's moving smoothly. Now, with those that we've disconnected, they have 14 days to pay. Beyond that, we will prosecute them at the law court. So everybody who's owing GWCL and can hear the sound of my voice, I should take note. If you have been disconnected, then you have 14 days to pay or to settle all arrears, or else you will have to face the law court and enable us to retrieve our money. I think it's been okay, and the most important thing is the fact that we are able to collect some of our money. We are also able to educate the staff and to enable them appreciate the challenges that we go through before we get water to them in their homes. So then they find it expedient to pay. We also encourage all customers that they should make utility bills part of their monthly budget, so that at the end of every month, even if you haven't received your bill, you still could go ahead and pay some amount to the GWCL.
You had the head of corporate communications at the Ghana Water Company Limited, Stanley Mate. You are still listening to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra. Still ahead in the bulletin, juries in the murder case of the late J.B. Dankwa served notice of absence. We'll bring you details of this and others shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Let's spend Easter together. This Easter holidays, whatever you do, make sure you spend the break with DSTV. That's right. It's time to kick back, relax with all the action and the drama from the Premier League and all our great football content. Bring on the laughter and the fun with the best holiday entertainment in Africa with brand new blockbusters and series and the freshest entertainment for kids. Get your decoder today for just 269 Ghana cedis. Renew your subscription using *759#. DSTV, it's your moment.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winning. 1xBet, reliable bookmaker that offers you a huge range of bonuses, great odds, and many chances to win. Register now on 1xBet.com.gh and use promo code PLAY1 to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. 1xBet gives you more.
Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
It's creamy, creamy plus, delicious milk, creamy plus for you.
Creamy Plus is a delightfully delicious option whenever and wherever the occasion calls for milk. For your quick meals on the go or quality time at the dining table, jazz up your favorite Gary soakings, mashed kenke, cereals, and all hot and cold beverages with a creamy, protein-rich, healthy option of milk. Creamy Plus evaporated milk with vegetable fat is all you need to stay on the go. Creamy Plus evaporated milk is now available in a shop near you.
For bulk purchases, please contact Les Farm Distributors at Medina Ritz Junction on 0501 682 522, or Grace has found us at Akoko Photo Dansoman on 0245 162 747.
Creamy Plus for you.
Creamy Plus evaporated milk.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
No. Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. We'll continue with the bulletin. And the Executive Director of Care for Free and Fair Elections, David Kumiado, is calling on the Electoral Commission to immediately halt an alleged ongoing secret voter registration exercise being conducted at the head office of the Commission. According to them, the EC is conducting the said exercise without any public announcement or notices of commencement, which is a cause for concern as it creates an opportunity for the manipulation of election results and undermines the integrity of the electoral process. Speaking to Citi News, David Kumiado says the reason given by the EC on the alleged exercise is untenable.
Okay, we had an information that there was an ongoing registration exercise by the Electoral Commission. We were a bit alarmed because obviously before the commencement of such activity, there is public notice so that everybody will have an equal opportunity to participate in the registration exercise. So when we chanced upon that information, we decided to make our further checks to see whether the information or the news we have heard was right. And the documents we had proved that the Electoral Commission indeed is registering people. So we decided through our secondary sources to engage the Electoral Commission to ask why that activity without any information. The information we get from our sources is that the Electoral Commission is saying that the registration exercise was actually for individuals who were going to contest for political parties' internal elections. And we are saying it is not right. If there is a voter registration exercise, everybody must know so that civil societies that monitor these activities, political parties that send their rep to monitor the activities and all those things will go on. So we think that such activity is a voter registration fraud and should not be allowed to go on. We have, through our release, called on the Electoral Commission to halt that activities immediately and provide to the general public the reason for such activity without public notice. We are going to impress upon the political parties to also show interest in this particular issue we have raised and call on the Electoral Commission to take out all the new people it's registered this year.
You heard the Executive Director of Care for Free and Fair Elections, David Kumi Ado. Now, juries in the murder case of the late MP for Ebuakwa North, J.B. Dankwa, they've served notice of absence. Now, we'll go over the phone lines and speak with our court correspondent, Hansen Ajman, to tell us more. Good afternoon, Hansen. Many thanks for your time this afternoon. Now, give us details of this update.
Well, so the jury in this particular case are saying that since March 2022, they have not been paid their allowance, and as a result of this, they are not able to foot the cost of commuting to and from the court premises as far as this case is concerned. And so they wrote to the judge presiding over the case to indicate that they will be absent from proceedings until a time when their allowances are paid, or at least they are given an indication on when they can get their allowances. So pretty much that is it with respect to the JB Dankwa case. The prosecution is still proving its case, calling its witnesses, but the proceeding seems to hit its nut as a result of the non-payment of the allowances of the jury members on this particular case. And so in court today, the judge noted that she's unable to fix a specific date for which she's certain that the jury members will join the proceedings. However, she decided to set a date where they will later pick another date for a decision on when the jury members can join the trial, hoping that by then appropriate authorities would have made available the allowances of these jury members.
Now, Hansen, before we let you go, we know that the minority leader, Kesola Tuforsen, also the court directed that he files his witness statement by May 14. Tell us a little about that too.
Yes, so the minority leader and two others were expected to come to court today for case management conference, and they were expected to have filed their witness statements. And so following from case management conference, the date will be given for their defense to be opened. But when they came to court today, their lawyers noted that some of his witnesses were out of the country and he had not been able to do any conference with them, and as a result couldn't file their witness statement. So they applied for leave from the court to file the witness statement later, even though the judge disagreed with the reason, noting that if you look at the technological advancement, no matter where these witnesses are, they can actually file their witness statement. They can type it out, sign, scan, and send it over to the minority leader. And even if they cannot be available in person to testify, video materials can be made available where they can be cross-examined from the convenience of where they are. And so that is the first issue with respect to the Atuforsen matter. The second issue has to do with an application from Atuforsen for disclosures on the part of the state. Atuforsen is seeking for some disclosures from the state, which he believes will prove the point that he actually got authorization for the letters of credit. The case against Atuforsen is that in the purchase of these ambulances, he wasn't given any authorization to sign those letters of credit for which monies were released for the purchase of the ambulances. His case through cross-examination was that he actually got authorization, and he's making the point that if the state makes these disclosures to him, he'll be able to prove that he got authorization for the letters of credit and hence cannot be held liable for any financial loss to the state. And so the case has been adjourned to May 9 2023. The judge is hoping that by May 4, the witness statements of actual forcing and the other accused persons would have been filed, and then a case management conference will happen on May 9th, and subsequently the 3 accused persons will be given an opportunity to open their defense, and the state will also get an opportunity to cross-examine the witnesses of the accused persons. Now, the 2 other accused persons, the second accused and the third accused person, they have indicated that they will call 11 witnesses altogether. So the second accused person says he's going to call 6 witnesses. The third accused person also indicated that he's going to call 5 witnesses.
Many thanks for that update. That was Hansen Ajman, our court correspondent, bringing us details from the court. Charles has more stories. The Ghana National Fire Service in the Central Region is urging long-haul buses that ply the region's roads to put necessary safety and exit measures in place on their journeys. Their call comes in the wake of yesterday's accident where a State Transport Corporation bus carrying mostly students was involved in a crash at Gomua Buduata on the Accra Cape Coast Highway. The service is also urging operators of buses to sensitize passengers on exit procedures in case of emergencies in the unlikely event of a crash. DO3 Abdul Waseu Hudu is the regional public relations officer for the Ghana National Fire Service in the Central Region.
In buses like STC or any other bus that carries a lot of passengers, there's supposed to be emergency exits. And when you pick passengers, you should let everybody, or you should announce to the passengers that in case of emergency, this is the window you should use, or this is the exit you should take. And I know in STC they have we have something called glass breakers that is hung in some selected areas in the bus, that when there's an emergency you cannot escape. Either it is fire or an accident that you are looking for exit. You remove one of the glass breaker, or we call it glass hammer. Then you'll be able to hit any of the glasses and be able to escape. And other places too, we have an exit at the roof of the vehicle, which sometimes is even reaching the exit, that in case of emergency like this, you can easily have access to it. But in most of the times, you sit in the bus, nobody educates you unless you look around. People of us who are experts or professionals in safety, when we enter such buses, we look around for those safety measures. And sometimes you are supposed to read around and take notice of the safety measures in it.
DO3 Abdul Waseu Hudu is the regional public relations officer for the Ghana National Fire Service in the Central Region. In related news, the Citi News understands that individuals who sustained injuries and were taken to the Winneba Trauma and Specialist Hospital for treatment have been discharged.
The Narcotics Control Commission, NARCOC, has arrested a Kenyan national, Njeri Mary, for smuggling 11 kilograms of cocaine into Ghana. She was nabbed at the arrival hall of the Kotoka International Airport when she came in from Nairobi via a South African Airways flight. According to NARCOC, Njeri Mary was in possession of cocaine worth over $300,000, and the commission said the arrest was made on Saturday, April 15, 2023. The suspect was apprehended by NARCOC officials during routine checks at the airport's arrival hall. A search of her luggage revealed packages of Cremora food that contained the concealed drugs. The exhibits have been sent to the Ghana Standards Authority for analysis and a report, while the suspect is being held in custody pending further investigations and prosecution. NARCOC assures the public that it is committed to reducing the drug trafficking threat to the country.
Now, 3 teenagers drowned in the White Volta River in the Kasina Nankana municipality in the Upper East region on Saturday, April 15, while plucking mangoes near the river. 2 bodies have been retrieved while the community continues to search of the remains of the third person. Speaking to Citi News, the Assembly member for the Chaba Electoral area, David Anafo, says the municipality is in a state of grief as the search is still ongoing for the body of the deceased Nathaniel Baba.
As everybody's quiet. For the house, the village, the women, they're just crying all over. But at the river, just the river bank where the bodies are being searched, it's just quiet. You see everybody just being silent while the search is going on. Nobody speaks. But when you come back to the home, the houses, the women are just crying all over. When the other 2 bodies were found, as soon as the body is found, we usually bring it quickly and just do the burial straight forward. Because the way they're wailing, when they are bringing the body home, the way they're crying, the whole place is always shaking with cry, children and women. They can't withstand it. So when the body is found, they usually quickly just call for the preparation of the grave, and they come and bury and go back. So as we speak now, in the homes, it's just crying all over. But in the river, it's more.
David Anafo is the assemblyman for Chaba Electoral area.
The Nkranza South Member of Parliament, Emmanuel Ejekum, has accused the police of fabricating the report of the death of 28-year-old Albert Akwesi-Donko, who passed on in their custody. Albert Akwesi-Donko is said to have been picked up from his home in Nkranza South by armed officers at 2 a.m. on April 24, 2022, in an unregistered vehicle on an anti-armed robbery operation. It is alleged that he was killed 4 hours after he was picked up by the armed police officers. His death sparked protest, and the family of the deceased vowed to get justice. The MP for Nkranza South says the family is awaiting an independent autopsy result from the hospital to determine the next course of action.
I know, not just I believe. I know it's not true. I know it's fabricated. It's a cooked report. It's a report that they've just sat down to write it down. And we predicted it. I said it over and over that the police are going to come out and say that the young man who they shot, who they murdered, is an armed robber. I know. The police, you don't trust the police. I don't trust the police. Nobody trusts the police in Ghana because all what they are saying is lies. And I can give you examples. Even as I sit here, because of this case, they said I've imported ammunition from either Russia or Ukraine or whatever into the country. So Ghana police, it's just lies. They are just lying to everybody. We have done an independent autopsy. In fact, we did not allow them to even touch the body, do an autopsy because of the first experience. There were 2 incidents. There was one that they shot a young man, broad daylight. There were TV crew, cameras around, everybody was around. Even that one, that people were around, witnessed the shooting. The police lied in the autopsy that the police pathologist conducted that it was a brain tumor, which is not true. So I'm part of the family. We totally disagree with it. We are not leaving this case. We are waiting for the 2 autopsy reports to come out from Kwalebu, and we will take the next action. I know, the reason why they've come out with this report is just because of the human rights report that came out and mentioned Albert's incident in the whole thing.
That was the Member of Parliament for Nkranza South, Emmanuel Ejekum.
And that's how we draw the curtains on today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios at Adabraka in Accra. For more news, you can log on to our website, citinewsroom.com. I am Wilma Ububi-Sakoman, and this afternoon I was here with
Charles Owusukumi.
Up next is the afternoon's edition of the Citi Business News. Do stay tuned and have a good afternoon.
Citi 97.3. More variety.